Oh, you're being ridiculous. He's a professional football player.
No, look, I'm not talking about killing the guy. I'm just talking about going up there with a group of dudes and intimidate him. Maybe break his arm.
You can't break Tom Brady's arm.
Oh, yes, I can. No more Super Bowls for that pretty boy.
Listen.
Robert better not get in my face, because I'll drop that mother.
What did you say? What the f*** did you just say?
Bomberowski to the near side.
What are you, a fucking lunatic?
You and your mom are hillbillies. This is a house of learned doctors.
I respect with him as a coach, but I'll be damned if I'll allow someone to,
But I'm gonna kick you repeatedly in the balls.
You got long balls, man. Long balls. You got long-ass balls.
You can't pick
What should I not
You know exactly what you've done, sir.
That's bullshit. I'll say it again. It's bullshit.
No, I'm just pissed off.
Let me tell you something with absolute honesty and concern for your well-being. Tom Brady would kick your ass.
You know, I was rude and inappropriate, and I just want to say I apologize.
I'm sorry that anybody could be offended by something that we were just having fun with, and I enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to do it.
That's a very, very trippy beginning right there. Well, it just like dropped off real quick there. That was hard. That was a hard quick and whatever. Anyway, everybody, welcome to the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Not exactly sure what was going on with the audio, man, right there, but it's another week where we're going to be talking about sports, everybody, mainly football. You're here with John B. Eazy Durnell. Also, you're here with the Moose and Duke Thompson. Duke, how's it going over there in Seattle?
Man, it is hot and humid and it's bullshit. I did not move.
It's probably only 82 degrees.
82 is hot here, man.
All right, man. Simmer down, man. We are in the 90s.
Hey, man, when you live somewhere for so long that with mild temperature, your body changes.
All right, man. All
but
right.
you live in L.A. where you got to be a desert. You live in the desert, so you're used to it. And no rain.
Whatever, dude. Man, when it rains, though, I do freak out. All right. And now what's going on over there, Moose? How is the East Coast?
It's good, man. It's good. It's getting cooler out here. It's about like 75, 80 maybe, and it's been nice. Today's a little muggy. We got some thunderstorms rolling through, coming up from the Gulf. But other than that, I'm good, man. I'm hitting the last preseason game tomorrow. I'm excited about that.
Ooh, that's right, folks. There is still a little bit of preseason left. Still a little bit of football left to go. But you know what? I think on week 4, there's a guy who's going to be getting a lot of touches, mainly because he's now the future of his team for the season. Jacoby Brissett, man who once played wearing the Patriot blue, is now going to have to lead a different blue, Colts blue, as Andrew Luck has decided he is no longer going to play the game of football anymore. It was a very emotional, teary moment where he is like, look, it's just not going to work for me. But I'd still like to keep some of this bonus money if that's okay. Folks, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I know how I feel. I feel bad for the dude. I think it came out at a poor time. Adam Schefter can say whatever he wants about, he didn't know the game was going on. He was at a 75th birthday party. I think it's all bullshit. I feel bad for the dude. He's been Indianapolis's bread and butter since Peyton. So it's upsetting, but you know what? I'm glad he walked away when he wanted to walk away, because at the end of the day, I have to remind myself that these guys are humans, regardless of what they're doing. Yeah, you're getting paid $100 million to take pain, but like, at what point is that pain enough? And obviously for Andrew Luck, he had enough.
Well, I like to, play devil's advocate on this because I just want to, because, I come from an old school time. I heard a lot of the older players talking about back in their day, this wouldn't happen. Back in their day, you play through the pain.
Right.
Back in their day. Now, again, back in their day, that is true. Also, back in their day, they weren't getting paid the money that they're getting paid now. So now they can walk away. So that's like almost good and also bad for the sport. I mean, if you think about it, if you want these stars to stick around, if you're paying them $30 million, they're pretty much set for life. So it doesn't really matter what they do after, they sign the dotted line. But if you're still giving them, $125,000 a year, they're going to come out for the next year, baby. You best believe that, so.
Man, Look, man, I still don't know how to feel. I'm still in disbelief about this. Like, it don't feel real. You know, I'm still trying to like get my jaw off the floor from this, man, because this is like when Barry Sanders retired in '99, I believe. Like, just blatantly was out. Like, I'm out. But I still don't know, man. I feel bad for the man. I watched the press conference. I still couldn't believe it was him saying that. He just looked like he was a man that was beat, man was down, man who just didn't want to give a crap no more, man.
I mean, he has been beaten down. I mean, he hasn't really been on the field very often the past, 4 seasons. Like, he's been having a hard time being healthy in general. So, I mean, I understand that. I mean, if these injuries keep piling up, much like they did for Gronk, you know, if injuries are piling up, you just don't want to do it anymore, you know? I mean, it's hard sometimes for people to want to go to work and all they have is a desk job. You know, imagine if you go to work and you got to get hit by a freight train every day. You know, like that's a different kind of job, you know? So I understand how if you don't feel good from the start of the day, you're definitely not going to feel good at the end of the day if you keep getting hit. So I can see why people are stepping away.
What kills me, too, is the criticism of him. Is these old players like, yeah, man, you old time players also too were like taking painkillers and alcohol before each game. You know, maybe.
All right, first off, don't trip and think that they aren't now. You know, all right,
I know they are now, but I'm just saying.
I still hear about people like throwing a face full of blow in their face before going out on the field. So don't trip. These
I ain't tripping with that, but I'm just saying, like, this is the old way of thinking, man. It's like, look. And you look at these old guys, man, they can't even walk. I mean, also, too, I could argue that since these men in the 90s and 2000s have gotten faster, stronger, and probably better steroids, like human growth hormone. I mean, these Chase athletes are nutritionally trained. They have a strict work ethic. It's a full-time job. So, I mean, these guys are hitting harder and faster, and the game is much more incredibly different than it was back then. If you were like an insurance guy in the 50s or 60s, you know, and you can come back for training camp because you're fat and out of shape, yeah, okay. But the game's different, man. For those guys to say that, that kind of bothers me because I thought it was more like a brotherhood. When every man steps on that field, you know what it's like to get hit, you know? So it bothers me that they criticize him like that and respect the man for walking away.
No, I mean, I'm with you on that as well, dude. I mean, I don't like anybody criticizing somebody else for what they've decided to do with their lives. But I'm just saying, I feel like a lot more of them might have stepped away earlier on if they were getting paychecks of, you know, astronomical money. You know, I just don't think they were in positions to walk away because they still wanted to live a pretty good lifestyle and have these families, you know. But now you can walk away if you've gotten a couple of years of $10-15 million, and you're still going to be pretty set for life as long as you don't do anything stupid, which I don't think Andrew Luck would be doing. Plus, he's probably going to be a spokesman or something, or for like, you know, a local wings company or something like that. You know,
he's going to be start an architectural firm with Larry Fitzgerald, man.
Oh wow, you think that's going down?
Yeah, Larry tweeted him out and said that we need to get together because they both have architectural degrees.
No shit.
Wow. Well, hey, that's not bad.
Not really smart, the two of those guys.
That's true.
They're incredible humans too. Like just good old dudes. I don't know, man. I can see Andrew Luck coming back to football.
Goodness, you live in some crazy fantasy world where you think everyone's coming back to football.
I don't think Rob Gronkowski is. If there's anybody I'd be thinking is coming back, it's him. He's saying it every other week that he might. Like yesterday when he released that new CBD thing, he's like, yeah, it might be 6 months, might be 3 months, might be a year. If I feel like coming back, I'll come back. But like Andrew Luck, and I didn't just mean playing. I could see Andrew Luck coming back as a coach. I could see him as a college coach. And we said the same thing about Tim Tebow. I know they're both one and the same, just good dudes. But I don't know. I mean, I think Andrew Luck will get bored. I think he loves the game of football. So I could definitely see him being a coach or a GM, maybe not a GM. I don't think he can make the hard decisions like that. But he just probably made the biggest decision of his life. I hope it works out for him, man. It's just sad. You see these guys, Rob Gronkowski, 29 years old, Andrew Luck, 29 years old, and you forget about the guy that plays, offensive lineman, a defensive line until he's 35, 36. Like, if that's how these guys are feeling, and they're at the literal prime, like top of their game, like how are these other guys feeling? Like, and
they feel awful and terrible because they don't get paid nearly as much, so they got to stay out there longer. I mean, let's be honest, dude. The people on the line are getting paid like fractions as much as those who are behind them. And, their knees are getting full of pins and all kinds of stuff. I mean, their legs are pretty much made of metal by the time they end their career.
And what bothers me, too, is that Taylor Warren was actually talking about how, I don't know if it's true or not, because you can't really believe what athletes say much. I want to believe the best in them, but saying he was actually using those supplements to help maintain his body through conditioning as he ages. So it's kind of like these guys are really concerned about the later years in life, which they should be. I mean, I can understand, too, with Andrew Luck, because it's a lot different getting hit than giving the hit. Like Andrew Luck was sacked how many times his rookie year? I mean, they didn't have an offensive line for him until
rookie year, dude. All throughout his career, but I know what you're saying, especially then.
Dude, yeah, that was hello to the NFL moment. It's horrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's the target on every play he's on the field. That's every play he's on the field. He's the first to touch the ball to initiate the offense. So he is the target every time, I mean, do you want to be hit every time or at least be possibly in the line of fire? Probably not, man, if you're hurting.
And for the people who criticize for Andrew Luck walking away, it's like I want to see how many of those guys, ladies and men, who walked away from jobs they didn't like, didn't call. Like, it's just a job, dude, right? So It's just a different salary type job, but it's still a job. And the man has a right to do what he wants.
That's right.
They take 2 years off and come back to the XFL. Who knows, man? But the man, obviously, I think, too, is that like he was like with Barry Sanders. He got pissed off with the Colts organization. It's like they weren't treating him right with the doctors. They weren't treating him right with getting players for around him to succeed. He was carrying that team every single year in a weak division, man. And I've said it before, with Andrew's like talent, they could have won a Super Bowl within the first 3 to 4 years if they had just properly got the right coaching staff and drafted the right players and just plugged them in. They could have had a Super Bowl like that, dude. But they wasted it. Just a pure waste, man, of talent. And that's what's sad.
Well, also the Colts fans booed the man. My mother said, "Where were these people raised in a barn?" And I joked with her that they legitimately play in a barn. So kind of, I guess, these people were raised in a barn. But I'm just surprised that if you're at a preseason game, you have to be like a true fan. So I'm really surprised that, true fans are out there booing him because they had to know what he's been going through. And I mean, they have to be reading these reports and knowing, all the stuff he's done the past few years just to even be out there a little bit,
He lacerated a kidney.
No, I know, dude. The list is long for the injuries, man. Their extent.
And that's what bothers me too. It's like when like these guys, it's just a game because like Mariota got shit for not playing last game. He was hurt the whole year. I don't know what pain tolerance is to these guys, but I tell you, my pain tolerance is a lot weaker than those guys are. And I can't imagine getting hit like they get hit. I mean, I can't imagine like a wide receiver going across the middle getting decked out. I can't imagine that pain of when you wake up on Monday morning that you can't even fucking move because you're in that much pain and you crawl out of bed. I just can't imagine that. And they do it for entertainment too, and people aren't grateful. And that was the trashiest thing in the world for them to do that. And that's another reason why I hate Colt fans, because they're entitled. They act like they've won 8 Super Bowls. All they had was Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck. Congratulations. You had 30 years of fucking great football. Boo-hoo. Get over it. And you act like Jacoby Brissett is like a bad QB. Hell no. So screw
Jacoby
you,
Brissett.
Cole.
Yeah, Adam Vinatieri is
Jacoby.
exactly right. He's no slouch.
No. I mean, dude, I mean, like, I'm still worried about the Colts team. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I mean, I know why, because he's black. Oh, that's it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean,
Dude,
you're a little too quick to draw my card there, buddy. But yes, that is why that they are slighting the man. We do know that. But, I mean, there's also some stats you could use as well. I mean, he has never beaten a team that finished with a winning record for the season. So that doesn't look great. So he's 0-9 in that category. He still needs to beat good competition.
Wait, what do you mean?
As a quarterback, he hasn't beaten a team that's ended the season with a winning record.
No shit.
Yeah. So anytime he beats somebody, that team ends the season poorly anyway. So it's like it doesn't look great. Those numbers aren't amazing, but you never know because this is a new year. This is a new season. This is now his team. He's never been put in a position where it is his team, and that's what this is right now.
You know what my biggest fear is that they're going to do the suck for luck again and wait 1 year, then let Jacoby play, then after that, get rid of him and suck for a great quarterback.
So you think they're going to tank for Tua?
They did it with luck. They'll do it again.
I wouldn't be against that either. If they lose their first 3 games, dude, the Colts organization will tank that out, man.
Oh, dude, let's say we'll be like, call it season. We're gonna get a new quarterback.
Right, and everyone loves to see Brock Osweiler there because he's the freaking steel giant. I'm not going to use iron. I think iron's a little tougher. Could be wrong. Wasn't very good in biology or chemistry. But they did meet with Brock Osweiler today. They're obviously surveying their options as far as backups go. And guess what? No Colin Kaepernick again. It's never going to happen. All you guys saying that it could happen and he should be back. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with you, but
it's never going to happen because if they ever do it, then it will prove that he was blacklisted for a reason. So he can't come back because it'll prove that there was a reason he wasn't allowed to be here. So none of the owners can ever go against that. It would have to be like a brand new organization, a brand new league.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be the XFL if he's ever playing again. It's not going to be the NFL.
Not going to be the XFL either. I did make a prediction. Not a prediction, but I guess I just speculated what would happen if, because Oliver Luck, Andrew Luck's father, is the CEO and commissioner of the XFL. Unfortunately, because the Colts still own the rights to Andrew Luck,
how long?
And wouldn't have. I'm not quite sure. But Andrew Luck, at this point, if he's walking away from pain, I don't think you're going to get better protection in the XFL, right?
I don't think so.
Not gonna happen. And to be fair, if you break down Andrew Luck's, sack total, he's pretty far down the list. I think he's just injury plagued. Honestly, he got hit a lot and had a shit O-line, but from the number I saw where he got sacked, I think it was 179 times over, 8 seasons or whatever it was. Comes out to about 25 sacks a year. So that's a pretty significant amount. But then you take people like, even Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Stafford. You got to think all these guys have been hit, 6 or 7 more times a year on average. But that I guess that just doesn't really mean much because Matt Stafford's he's been here since long. I can't believe he's still here. I can't believe he's still tossing the ball for the Lions. Granted, I'm not saying he's not good, but the amount of hits he's taken, that shit's got to hurt. Alex Smith, that guy's taken a ton of hits. And I know he's been playing for a while, but you just got to, at this point, it's like Andrew Luck, he was just plagued, man. He was just cursed. He's too good of a, he's too good of a guy. The football gods didn't want to give it to him that easy. So.
No, dude, Irsay didn't want to give him nothing.
Irsay is a piece of shit. That guy is an absolute – that man himself is a dumpster fire. If the Colts sold their team and they still had Luck, they would be winning and he would not be retired. because they made him play through that injury. And the other thing, too, here, right, and I was thinking about this, Andrew Luck thanked the doctors for the Colts in his press conference.
What?
Yes, he thanked the doctors, right? Now, here's my thing. He thanked the doctors. He gets to keep $24.6 million, whatever ridiculous amount it is. And I think it's Jim Irsay's way of saying, if you thank our doctors, because they obviously messed you up, and everyone's going to speculate that, anybody that wants to come to the Colts in free agency is going to be like, oh, dude, like they let Andrew Luck down. They let him down physically and mentally. So, like, where do you go from there? He thanks the doctors. He keeps his 24.8 or 6, whatever it is, and that's that. I don't know. It's like it was a little fishy to me because they've obviously done him wrong.
Well, I agree with you there, man, because that's shady, and I wouldn't put Pat Irsay to do that. In fact, I think Irsay is the one who leaked that shit to Schefter because, Andrew was supposed to have a press conference the next day, and Irsay is such a spiteful man that he probably told Schefter to leak that so the fans will know they're booed. He don't get a press conference. He looks like crap. The Irsay, the GM, and the coach all look like victims. They're all sitting there with their heads down saying, we're just going to have to move on, all this other crap. Screw you, Irsay.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem pretty shady in the way in which it came out. Yeah, because, it was leaked with there still being time left in the game so that the fans would be able to find out about it and then, again, boo him accordingly.
And then but we remember how he treated Peyton that last year? Just like they cut you, man. Bam, we ain't going to give you a shot. You just had to move on because we know that if we suck this year, then we get Andrew Luck. And that's exactly what happened because they put in the worst team possible that year. They were wearing T-shirts that say suck for luck. It's like, have some pride, man. I'm sorry, but if my team is garbage and only win 2 games, okay, yeah, we're garbage. But I don't want them purposely going out there losing. It's like, what do you want to say about your organization when you say that?
Right, right. You know what? That brings up a thought. That I just thought it.
I thought
of it. So, Duke, right? You love Mariota, and I'm not gonna attack you. I promise that's not.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I've been attacked all day, man.
It's not fine. It's just nothing. I'm not gonna attack you, right? But you love Mariota, okay? And I don't blame you. I love my quarterback too, and I'll love the next one that comes around that is shit. But you love your quarterback because he's genuinely a good dude, and he's pretty good at football, right? Like, yeah. I mean, he's not the most talented guy in the league, and I'm not saying that to demean you or whatever, but he's not the most talented guy in the league. But he carries himself with a lot of grace and poise and humility. And Andrew Luck was the same. Like, Andrew Luck retiring at 29, I was upset. And he's one of my biggest, I wouldn't say rivalries, but he's a guy you got to go through. He's a good quarterback, or he was. And so, like, to see a guy that is always that chipper, always that happy, he's poised. Even when he came into his press conference, hello. Like that's the most Andrew Luck way to retire I've ever seen. But also, it makes you think, right? Like, who do you want on your team? You want a guy with humility. I hated Tom Brady at first because he was an ignorant, arrogant bastard. He was just a dick to everyone. But now he's changed, right? So I like him, a lot more.
What? He touched your stupid head.
He did touch my head. You had to be careful there. You had to be careful with where you were going with that one.
Come on now. He touched your head, and you're going to say that you thought you didn't like him? Come on now. Why would you let him touch your beautiful head if you didn't like the man?
I was 7, Jonathan.
But you still hated the man?
Yeah, that's fandom, man.
I hated him when I was 6.
I hated him when I was 6. I changed it.
I had a Drew Bledsoe signed hat in Jersey. I was not about to mess around with Drew Bledsoe. And who's this new guy? Who's this? I'm 6. I don't understand what's going on. Why are you taking my guy? I don't get it. So I didn't like him. I had a grudge.
Well, but
I guess my point is just like, if your quarterback of your team, if you're not going to be winning Super Bowls, at least the guy should be a good guy. And, I think Andrew Luck and Marcus Mariota share similarities in that.
Well, also too, man. I mean, it's just that Mariota walked into a dumpster fire. There's only like 3 players, I believe, still on the original 53-man roster still on the team. And then we screwed up because we had Ken Wisenhunt, who just totally was a garbage coach. So we were on the hook for his contract for like 2 years. And then we had to get in Mike Mularkey, who was like exotic smash mouth. Oh my God. So like I was saying, like I believe that Mariota overcome bad coaching, you know, and now I believe that like I just hope it's not too late. You know, I say that we haven't given enough time to succeed. Now we got a damn good team with some damn good receivers now, just instead of just one guy. I mean, I have hope for the season, but I'd rather see him like it's going to kill me if he walks and we cut him and he goes to go succeed somewhere else. I just see that happening. I mean, don't call me like a fatalist, but I would just, I don't know. I may just give up on football after that. I can't support the team no more. I'll just be a Chiefs fan. I'll just be a bandwagon Chiefs fan, Jonathan.
Oh, great. Well, you can come on over. We'll take more people. But a lot of people are talking about, like, the timing of this, you know, how poor timing. Like, he could have done this earlier. They could have gotten a chance at a different quarterback, blah, blah, blah. But, like, with you bringing up Marcus, man, like, I'm not saying that this is possible, but what if he's –
oh, my God. He goes to Colts.
No, what I'm saying, what if he's in the same boat, man? Like, because Marcus, let's be honest, he's not coming out a lot lately. He's been having a lot of injury problems, and I'm sure the game is not as fun for him as it probably used to be.
I think that he's still young enough to where it is, but he might be damn close to it, to where if he gets hit a shit ton this year and then we just suck, I think, yeah, we might have broke him too.
I mean, the thing is he's only –
he's 25.
He's 40 sacks away from being where Andrew Luck is, and he's got 3 years less experience. Like, that's a lot of hits to take.
Yeah, and because he just offensive coordinator is bad coaching, but I believe with Vrabel, like, people want to start controversy where there isn't. Mariota's a damn good quarterback with the talent. He's a winner. He just needs the support. And I've argued this with you guys all the time about what makes a successful quarterback. Brady walked into the Patriots with an 8-8 team and a damn good coaching staff, and they brought the best out in him. And I hate Andy Reid, but we'll see this year what he does with Mahomes, if he's going to bring out what better in him or what, or is it Mahomes overcoming Andy Reid, you know? But these guys walked into a good situation, and sometimes Andrew Luck walked into a dumpster fire, y'all. 2 wins when he walked in there. And he got that team to the playoffs next year. That was amazing. And then he got all those hits, and his loyalty probably screwed him up too, man, because you can tell he's a loyal guy. He wasn't going to tell the coach, no, man, I can't play, man. I ain't going to let my teammates down and stuff. But that one coach before, I forget his name, the guy that survived cancer, leukemia, whatever. He was there for way too long. He wasted Andrew Luck's career.
The guy with cancer.
Yeah, he had leukemia for
the coach that they had beforehand. I know he's talking about.
He was a garbage coach, and he put Andrew Luck.
Had a disease.
Dude, I know, man, but I'm just saying, like, he was afraid of losing his job and thought Andrew Luck was just going to cover everything. And it's like, no, one player can't cover crappy coaching. This is not basketball. Will LeBron's like, yeah, I'll just cover it. Fuck the coach. I'll just do it myself. So I'm afraid that Mario's in the boat, but like I say, I wish Andrew Luck the best. I just wish that we could have beat him one time. He owns our asses.
Like, how does that feel though? Like, because I know that you've always, had that hatred for him, and I know now it's different. I understand that. I'm not.
It's hatred because you wear the uniform. It's not. I hate the man. I hate the QB.
Yeah, you respect the man, but you don't respect the jersey. That's fine. I can get behind that. Believe me.
Yeah.
But I guess do you hate Indianapolis even more now though? Like, because they ruined a great man? Like, or is it kind of the same?
I do.
Like, what you do?
I do, because I went through Jake Locker, Matt, I don't know what his name was. Who knows? But, like, I went through all these years of crap quarterbacks, and that team gets Peyton Manning for my childhood. Then all of a sudden, they get Andrew Luck. That shit ain't fair, man. Jonathan knows what I'm talking about. Like, it's not.
I mean, well, look, I mean, in all honesty, dude, Vince Young was supposed to be better than he was, and he was supposed to change that Titans organization.
That's Jeff Fisher's fault. I still believe that to this day.
I mean, I don't know, dude. That's something strange happened. I mean, that you remember that whole scenario where he's like missing in the city somewhere, and they find him with a gun at a bar or something like that.
Yeah, dude, I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like there is some weird stuff going on with Vince Young, man. So like, this is stuff where you were like, there's a mental breakdown here. The pressures are too strong. Something was going on, man. Like, not a lot of answers were being given, and there's just more and more questions piling up. But either way, man, they basically blamed it on like anxiety and other things of that nature for the fall of Vince Young. But I feel like there was something else that was going on there. But if it wasn't for Vince Young, man, who knows, man? Like, the Titans were looking good, especially if they had Vince Young in a time period where they had Chris Johnson and White back there. I mean, come on, dude. Like, that would have been an unstoppable offense right there. It's just the circumstances of certain things happening, and you had to have Kerry Collins lead the way.
Oh, dude. And we had too, this is one thing I've always said, owners are everything. A good owner is going to take care of that team. And Bud, let's just be honest, he was very old at the time and didn't participate much and kind of just let that team run on autopilot. And it was horrible. It was damn horrible for all those years because you're like, well, I mean, you just don't want to wish him to, like, kind of die or something. I mean, but you want somebody else to be in charge, man. But
oh, well, now you finally know what the Raiders feel like. Well, that's probably something we can get into here on the second half of the Ricky Williams trilogy, everybody. It's a perfect time for us to make our way into a break, and then we can come back and talk about some of those Raiders hard knocks, everybody. So listen to the Ricky Williams trilogy. We'll be right back.
And we're
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is time for your Fumaruski weekly sports news update. I'm going to fuck that up every time. The United States women's national team captain Carly Lloyd successfully made a 55-yard field goal this week at an Eagles practice. She was reportedly offered a spot to kick for an undisclosed NFL team this Thursday, but due to her commitment to women's soccer, had to turn down the invitation. Houston Texans running back Lamar Miller has torn his ACL and will miss the remainder of this season. Colts star quarterback Andrew Luck has abruptly retired from the NFL. The highly touted QB says that he has been plagued with injury and at this point cannot mentally or physically come back to the game and be happy with the life he is living. New England Patriots three-time Super Bowl center David Andrews was admitted into the hospital today for blood clots in his lungs. He was released of the hospital and was on the sidelines today at practice, but may have to sit out the remainder of this season as well. And finally, former tight end Rob Gronkowski had a press conference last night, releasing his next project after having moved on from the game. Partnering with a company called CBD Medic. He has stated that he had to recover and get better physically and mentally after last season, especially after the brutal hit he took to the thigh that left him not being able to walk after last year's Super Bowl against the Rams. Boys, a lot of people getting hurt, man. I'm sick of this preseason shit. I'm sick of it. I drafted Lamar Miller low, thank God. But I drafted him. He gets hurt. Andrew Luck goes down, retires. David Andrew goes down. How many other people got hurt this week that I don't even know of?
Well, I mean, that's why I don't do my draft till the last minute, and that's why everybody in my league loves me for it.
That's right.
I wish you were my commish. Jonathan, believe me, I don't have it easy here. I don't get to choose this. We did ours before the first preseason game. Before the first, yeah, I know. It's like literally the dirtiest thing you can do to a human. It's like the spawn of Satan is my commissioner. But you know what? It ended up working for me. We'll talk a little bit of fantasy. I know you guys don't have your teams yet. I have 2 already. One was auto-drafted. I don't want to talk about that one.
What the hell? All right, well.
Auto-draft.
Family league. I would destroy them in the draft. And my father ended up picking Tom Brady in the first round because he changed his preferred players in fantasy. He knows nothing. So that's why we do auto-draft. But this worked out for me. The Lamar Miller thing actually worked out for me. The Andrew Luck thing worked out for me. So I got Russell Wilson in the 7th round because I was doing the podcast, not paying attention. I auto-picked that one. Not my proudest moment. And also, I would never take a quarterback before the 10th round, probably, ever, unless it was Patrick Mahomes in the 4th. But it worked out. Saw the kid, had Andrew Luck out. He was pissed, looking for a trade, looking for a QB. So I sent him Russell Wilson for Sammy Watkins and Chris Carson. Huge trade. Probably the biggest trade I've ever made in my life, especially because I got Jameis Winston, and he'll probably end up with more fantasy points than Russell Wilson at this point because Russell has nothing to work.
Wow. No, dude. Russell Winston.
Look, he can still find a rainbow at the end of a pile of turds, man. He makes it work out, dude. He makes it work. Trust me. I mean, his boo-boo said go Hawks in the most sultry way. They're going to do well.
I remember that. That was bad. Weren't they in like bed or something?
They were in bed and he had on some gold chains. He was looking sexy right there, you know. But again, dude, earlier you had mentioned in the news that Gronk was partnering up with some CBD, something that I think is going to probably keep him from joining the league anytime soon. But what's up with the Patriots and drugs? Because I mean, you got cocaine, you got cocaine. And things are happening all over the place, man.
Like, out of all the guys on the team, honest to God, like, I just don't – okay, first let me preface this. I don't expect anything like this from any Patriots player. You have to understand that. Like, just because they're run the way they're – you know, they're ran the way they're ran, I would have never expected a cocaine charge to come on who else but Patrick Chung, who's an absolute backbone to our team and to our defensive backbone. Granted, he was going to miss some games. Now, I want to clear something because there's a lot of people in the greater New England area that are saying this is Bill's work. This is Bill Belichick's work. He got him caught with drugs so that he can get a 4-game suspension, recover, because he may not even play within 4 games. He may not be able to. So he gets booted, doesn't count as a slot, gets to keep an extra back. Can I tell? This is the reason everyone hates us. This is the reason. It's because of the fans. It's not because of the team. It's because of the fans. Do not give this credit to Bill Belichick. Are you kidding me? The guy can barely draft right. Like, I'm sorry. I love Bill. I trust him with everything. But you think he would tell his star safety
to go do some cocaine?
No. But here's the thing. He didn't get caught with it on his person. That did not happen. What happened was Patrick Chung's alarm got sprung at his house for a possible B&E, breaking and entering, for you fezzies that don't know. The cops went in, had probable cause to go in because there was a B&E that had been tripped. There was an alarm. And guess what they found? Cocaine.
Cocaine!
As to the amount, I don't care. Cocaine is cocaine. I don't care if you have a key bump or you have an 8-ball or you have a kilo. Okay, maybe a kilo is going a little far, but Coke is Coke, right? Like, Coke is Coke. You have it, it's a controlled substance. I'm pissed, but also he pleaded not guilty, which is the most Patriots thing to ever do since Kraft, who we haven't talked about in months, also did. So it's interesting, man. I just didn't see it coming.
Well,
wow.
I mean, you guys are like high as hell up there or something, man. Because that is the most stupidest crap I ever heard. Conspiracy theory that
What, from
Bill
oh,
or
no,
the,
you meant like
no, your fans, dude. Your people. That's
They're
your
crazy. They're crazy. Do you know that to this day, people are marking down. People still think we're getting back from Jimmy G because we traded draft picks for other draft picks and people for other draft picks that came from Jimmy G's trade. People are still trying to give Bill that satisfaction. I for one, I'm not going to do it. I'll play along. That's fine. You know what? Technically, it does have a connection, but don't think that Bill Belichick is some fucking mastermind that predicts 8 years. It's 4 years into the future with draft picks from the 3rd and 5th round. I'm not going to play that game. That's not the Patriot way. He just makes it work.
I guess that's the real Patriot way, is just making it work.
Got to make it work.
You got to make it work, man. We're always going to make it work. Do your job. Bill Belichick knows what's up, but he would never do that. You guys are just weird up there, man. Your success has totally made you insane.
Crazy.
Like,
absolutely asinine, the things people say up here.
Well, on a lighter note.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Northeast has had a lot of action happening up there. This is a little different, though, where a lady got a chance to get out on the field and show what her leg could do. Now, from the USA team winning the World Cup to now making her way out onto a field, we've got, with the Eagles, I believe, it's Carly Lloyd, kicked the ball right through the uprights. A lot of people say she took a lot of steps.
They were skinny uprights, too. I'll give her that. They were
were skinny uprights.
Rugby ones, yeah.
The accuracy was very nice.
Yeah, it was a great kick.
Now, she might have taken a couple extra steps, and some say the shot was a little low. But she still had a lot of leg behind it. Now, she has not said that she's going to be joining some undisclosed NFL team. But she says if she works on it a little bit, she might come back and see how she feels about it. What do you feel about it, Moose? How do you feel about a lady out there kicking the ball?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. It was a great kick. She obviously has a leg behind her. If she can do it, why not throw her out there? We're fucking watching Cody Parker, whatever his stupid name is. You think Chicago wouldn't give her a deal? Are you kidding? I'm mad about how much we pay our kicker, Stephen Gostkowski, the leading point scorer in Patriots history. I don't think we should have him. I don't, because kickers don't. Yo, time out. Have you watched the last 4 Super Bowls we've been in? Because he's missed at least 1 field goal in every single one of them, and they've been an important one. So, no, I don't think we should be paying him almost $5 million a year. I think kickers are stupid. Okay?
Well, until you need them. Yeah, until they kick that winning field goal, you're like, well, look at my kicker go.
Gostkowski's the most consistent we're going to get, but in big-time games, he's not falling through.
Well, Ben and Terry's still playing. Why don't you sign him for 1 more year with the Colt? I
wish we did. I wish we never left him. But guess what? He wanted money, and Bill wouldn't pay him. But for some reason, Bill Belichick has a weird fascination with paying 2 guys that should probably not be on our roster. And that's Nate Ebner, love him, former vet, and also a rugby guy. And then Stephen Gostkowski. It's too much money. But back to what we were talking about.
But have you not listened to Belichick? He loves the kicker and the punter. He worships how the punter changes the field. 6 years?
What was wrong with him? There's something Jake Bailey has for us to move up to 2 draft spots in order to pick him in the 5th round of this. Yeah, I get it. Bill had some fascination. I guess I'm a little bit on an anti-Bill rant tonight because I'm sick of this shit. Okay, I love Bill Belichick, but he's not a fucking. No, I won't say he's not a guru. He probably is. But back to the Carly Lloyd thing, I think it would be very cool. I think it would be very inspirational to have her playing a game that men play. But the other side of this is, and I'm only playing devil's advocate because I don't care if she's in the league. I think it would be great. I think it'd be fantastic. People would have something to look up to. You know what I mean? Like a whole generation of women could be like, I can fucking do that. I can do that. But also, there's hundreds of kids in this country that can kick 55 yards after 2 steps in a game, and they're in high school and college. And that's the only point I'm going to make. I'm not saying I don't want her in the league. I think it would be fantastic. I'd rather her than some other Cody Parkey idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather watch her missing kicks than others. It'd be sick. It'd be great. It's fantastic. If I have a daughter someday, I'd say, look at her. Look at Carly Lloyd. wins tons of medals, and then kicks in the NFL. It'd be sick. But I don't know if it's going to happen because I think the backlash is just – I think it's there. I think the backlash is there to be had.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I saw the kick. You're right, 7 steps, but
I think it was 4 or 5 steps.
The kick was low, would have been blocked, but with the right amount of training, she could do it. It's just a question of who's going to be the first guy to light her up after the field goal gets blocked. Who's going to be that a-hole? Huh? You just hit a woman.
Why is he an asshole, though? It's a contact sport.
Oh, I know, dude, but that's...
Well, I mean, if you didn't touch the ball, man, that's a penalty, and then you need to be talked to about it and, throw the flag. I mean, let's be honest. He'll probably either be, a member of the Tennessee Titans or the Cincinnati Bengals,
The Oakland Raiders.
Yeah. I mean, like, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, it's probably where this culprit is going to come out of.
Hey, man.
Some wide-eyed rookie trying to get a spot on the team thinking that they can,
That's right, man.
Get that block, and then they miss it and just blow up a kicker and don't even think.
If Vrabel is going to cut off his Johnson for Super Bowl, well, that rookie's going to lay out a female kicker. Damn it.
She doesn't even have a Johnson.
My point exactly.
My word. All right.
You have a point, though. Like, I mean, I don't honestly know how big she is. Like, I'm not sure.
I mean, she's probably at best $120.
I mean, have you guys seen that movie, Unnecessary Roughness?
The what?
Huh? You guys seen that movie, Necessary Roughness, with
yes,
the different? Yeah, it's gonna be like that. The pads is gonna be falling off of her and crap, and she's gonna look horrible.
The other thing is that dude will probably get shit for it, and that's not necessarily fair either.
Well, it's a game.
I mean, it's definitely not going to be fair to her when she's digging grass out of her mask. Like, that's not going to be good for anybody. But it would be really cool, man. I'd love to see her play. That'd be sick. I'm a huge Carly Lloyd fan when it comes to soccer, so, like, I'm about it. Like, that'd be wicked cool to have her in the league and have her in pads kicking field goals. Can you imagine that first one she makes? Every single guy is going to run on the field. Every single person. You know what I mean? That would be the most.
Why don't we just replace all of our place kickers with the women from the USA team? I mean, they know how to kick the ball.
That is, Jonathan, you may be onto something.
Yeah.
Maybe the XFL should do that.
Oh, shit. Maybe so.
Women-only kickers.
Women-only kickers.
But like, this is the thing, too, though. And I don't like to go down this route because I think in a lot of ways it's very sexist, but we don't have a women's football league, right? We used to, the Powder Puff League, and they wore bikinis.
I mean, there's a bunch of women's leagues, homie. They just don't get any traction.
Yeah. Right. So we don't watch them, right? Like, I barely watch spring football if there's a league going on. But, like, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. I think it's too political, but I don't see a woman playing any other position. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it would be too.
Ooh, well, on that note, let's say that's terrible since we got a girl who's literally playing football right now. Gets his first woman with a scholarship and a position player.
Where?
She's playing in Missouri. Do you not know about this girl?
The girl from L.A.?
Yeah, the girl from L.A. that got a scholarship to play in Missouri. I think she's playing as a safety.
No way. That's badass. See?
Out, man.
She could change my mind then. She could change my mind, but I haven't. Jonathan, I'm only saying this because I haven't seen it.
I just love that that's like currently what's happening right now. And you're like, women aren't going to be a position player. And I'm like, there's one that got a scholarship. So.
Nope, did not know that. I will most certainly look her up, and she will probably change my mind.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they had a thing on her on ESPN, like, literally this week.
No, didn't see it. I'll look it up. But the other thing, too, is, like, I'm not saying I'm more of a man than women that play football because there's plenty of women that could kick the fucking shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like, this has nothing to do with me being sexist. It's just I've never seen it. And maybe it's because they're turned off to that game because it's only a male sport and it's contact. You're going to get hurt. You can't get hurt, sweetie. Even though Andrew Luck just walked away from football at 29 with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. But we'll see, man. That'd be sick. I'd love to see women in the game. You know what I mean? It'd be great.
There's women coaches. I mean,
there's plenty of women coaches. Yeah, no, jeez.
Bruce Arian has a.
Seem like I'm some fucking misogynist. I'm not. I just haven't seen it.
Well, I'm misogynist.
I'm not saying it's not possible, but I just haven't seen it. I'd love to see it. The other thing I'd love to see is Antonio Brown on the field for good. But I just wanted to ask you guys something, and then we can wrap it up after this. So Antonio Brown can't play, frostbite feet. Then can't play, don't like the helmet, bad helmet. Can't use my old helmet. Need to use a new one. Don't want to use a new one. Files 2 grievances. And finally, these helmet producers, these distributors, makers, creators, start hitting them up for endorsement deals. My question to you guys is this all just a coincidence just because it happened this way and somebody jumped on the opportunity? Or was this some type of weird shoe deal, in quotation marks, that Antonio Brown just pulled off of everybody?
He did it, man. He's the smartest man in the room, and you guys just can't admit it. I told you. I mean, know what he's doing, man.
I would want to believe it, but like, what's a helmet deal, dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's a helmet? Like, a shoe deal is one thing because you know people buying shoes. But who's buying a specific helmet for Antonio Brown? Like, first off,
rich kids playing out in Vegas and California and Florida. High
fine,
school.
that's a pretty small market, man. But the shoe game's a different world. You know, a few private schools across the nation. How much you really pulling in with that?
Yeah,
at least 100,000 a year, 200. Who knows? I would say
a shoe deal gets you like 40 million a year, dude. So, I mean, that's not even close.
It's not even close, man. Well, I mean, shoes are everywhere, like you said. So, I don't know. I think he's the smartest man in the room. I think he got endorsed pretty good. I don't know how he's going to, like, do commercials or whatever, but, hey, he got
exactly.
paid.
Like, where are you selling the commercials for helmets? Like, I've never seen a helmet commercial, to be honest with you, to date. I've never seen them be like, you know, buy my Wilson's helmet. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. So, I mean, is this just going to start now? Is this now going to be a trend that we're going to see helmet commercials?
Probably. Who knows, man? Maybe he's the one who's a trendsetter. So, I don't know. Like I said, I just know man got paid. The man likes money. I think it's just kind of like egg on his face. But you know who's going to have egg on his face? We all know good old Chucky. What about Chucky, Johnny? Is that man, I've not told you, he's a bum. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't know what he's doing. He thinks he's like 1940-something with some old-ass projectors playing some black and white grainy footage saying, it's how you hit, son. Look.
He's obnoxious, okay, dude? First off, he's talking about the Blue Bonnet Bowl. First episode, a bowl that doesn't exist and hasn't since before the Moose was alive. Secondly, he's been on here talking about how smart he is because he's like, can you count down from 100 by multiples of 3? And he's like, what? Like this random player.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he asked a player randomly.
Was this last night's episode?
Yeah, it was the most recent episode. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
So he's like, can you count down? And the player's all like, what? He's like, you know, count down from 100 by multiples of 3, you know, like 100, 97, 94, 91. So he starts just like going down, right? And the guy looks at him like in bewilderment, like he had never seen somebody count down from 100 by 3s. And John Gruden, you can clearly tell, is proud of himself for the fact that he knows simple subtraction, you know? And then like later.
That's fantastic.
No, it's great because later in the episode, I forgot what they were doing. And then he just like out of nowhere is all like, you know, 21, you know, 18, 15. And I'm like, what, dude? First off, those are actually divisible by 3, but you were doing it from 100, which is not. So you got to end at 1. You can't end at 0. But he just somehow in the middle of the episode went right back to counting down the numbers. And again, being really proud of himself for simple subtraction. If that's how he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, That's really pathetic.
Yes,
You know,
he
that's
is.
a lot. That's a lot of pressure, though. That's a lot of pressure.
Hey,
Because that's something simple, but you get to doing it, and you might get yourself a little messed up.
Yeah. Well.
Who's the guy that did it? You know?
Oh, I can't remember who they. Well, it's John Gruden who's doing it, but it's him himself.
Oh wait, he like tested himself to do it.
Well, he's trying to like make himself look smart versus this random player that probably gets cut from the team. So he's like, man, I'm so smart. Look at me counting down from 100 to 0 by subtracting by 3 each time. Like, it's
Stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
yeah, man. It's to make him look smart. How does that make you look smart, dude? That's what a third grader can do when they're trying to prove to you that they're smart. They're like, look at me, I can count backwards.
well, he's very insecure. He has a Super Bowl ring. Apparently, a lot of people don't like him, a.k.a. Keyshawn Johnson. But I'm just saying, he's a D-bag. I never liked Gruden. I always thought he was a facade. And everybody just – because he's a stereotypical football coach. He's like a high school football coach, a little visor man saying, let's play some football.
Yeah, he is basically what you would assume a coach in 1986 would look like.
If it was a movie role for a football coach, he's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like for a movie, like if we did like our version of Porky's, right? Because Porky's was in the 50s but made in the 80s. So ours would be made now, but it'd be about the 80s. So my Porky's coach would have to be John Gruden. So
it's a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
Well, I have one last question for you guys since we have a couple more minutes here.
Oh, what was Porky's?
No.
I mean, I know that's before your time.
That sounds more like it sounds like something else. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna go there. I've already gotten enough trouble tonight. If you guys had to pick one team this year, I was thinking about it earlier, and I was like, what's the one team that's doubted because of people leaving, coaching changes, QB changes, anything, any variable? What's the one team that you guys would pick this year that you think is being underrated, but you think is going to thrive? And I'm not saying to win the Super Bowl or, go far in the playoffs, but what's one team, if you guys had to pick, that's underrated right now and you think is going to have a pretty good year?
My Titans, man. That's it. I said it. My Titans.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew you were going to do it.
I would say the Chargers, but I think too many people are jumping off of it. But I say my Titans. We're going to have a good year. Or the Chiefs. They finally make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the Chiefs aren't underrated.
Chiefs are not an underdog by any means.
They're probably overrated. But
yeah, I feel that's probably more accurate. But if I had to say a team that I'm expecting big things out of, I'm going to say the Colts, man. I think the Colts are getting hit with the idea that they're not a good team, even though they do still have good pieces, man. They still have T.Y. Hilton. They still have 2 good tight ends. I mean, Ibram just came off a good season. You're still also looking at Matt coming out of the backfield. He's nothing to snicker at either. And the defense has improved. I mean, if Jacoby is just halfway decent, they can still probably be a playoff threat.
I don't
they're an 8-8 team at least. They're not like complete garbage like the Colt fans are making them out to be. There's still going to be a
Colts fans' opinions don't matter anymore because they booed like one of the nicest guys I've ever listened to after retiring because he's too hurt. Also, fuck you, Doug Gottlieb, for saying all that shit.
Oh, the most millennial thing ever. Yeah.
Asshole. Doug Gottlieb doesn't know shit. He stole credit cards in college. Fuck off. I guess my team, I think that just nobody's really talking about them besides the changes that have been made are the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they work best in silence. I think Moncrief, Washington, and Juju are going to go off. And James Conner, this is a year where he can really excel because he's not questioned as much anymore. in regards to will he pick up on Le'Veon's lack of being here. But he's got to prove himself this year, and I think he will. I think Jalen Samuels, I think he can play well too. He plays a little bit of tight end, a lot at back, and he's just a heavy dude, just runs through people. And then their defense got way better with the addition of Devin Bush. I think he's an absolute machine. If you guys have seen him out on the field, he is nuts. I'm excited to watch him play this year. So I think the Steelers are going to do better than anticipated just because, they lost Le'Veon and Brown. Their division around them got exponentially better. I mean, look at Cleveland. Holy shit. They're like Super Bowl favorites almost. And never mind, even with the questions surrounding Lamar Jackson, the Ravens are still highly touted. So I think the Steelers, like I said, work best in silence. I think Tomlin works best when there's little distractions because he's a dictator. And I think they're going to have an all right year.
All right. Well, those are the picks, I guess, right there. Next, I guess if we have a 34 of the week here, I mean, I'm pretty sure our puppy dogs will be the Colts fans. That's pretty much understood, but we probably should have at least a 34.
34 goes to Andrew Luck just because he went out on his own terms. Respect a man. You went out there. Nobody's soft whoever steps on that field. I'm tired of that term being called. If anybody's soft, it's LeBron James. But I would say that, if anybody who steps on that field is going to get hit like that, nah, he ain't soft. And, of course,
I feel like that's an unnecessary jab at LeBron James. I don't know what he's done to get –
What? Unnecessary? I mean, unnecessary.
I mean, he does whine a bit when he gets touched by a 6'2" guard. He's like, they touched me. It's like, homie, you are a monster. But –
they looked at me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jonathan, by now you can realize that just anytime Duke can take a shot at the great one, he's gonna.
I guess so, man. He doesn't like a lot of goats.
No, he does not.
No, man. I like goats, man. I just don't like phony goats.
I mean, okay. Well, all right, man. He's getting to the championships.
That is a discussion for next offseason.
Yeah,
right,
that's what I said. This is football, man, okay? Yeah. And also, too, the puppy dog course is the Colt fans and the entire city of Indianapolis and anybody that booed Andrew Luck. You are a horrible franchise acting that way. You know why? Because you hung a AFC championship banner that for second place. Who does that?
And then last year they put up a banner that said 1-0.
1-0.
I hope you guys get real and put up a banner that says ruined luck.
Ruined luck, dude.
You ruined the man and you ruined the fascination of actual luck because you have none and you trash. Indy's the new Philly. Indy's the new Philly.
That's right. So, John, where can they find us at, man? Oh, listeners.
Well, our listeners can find us on all different forms of social media. You can find us on Facebook, going to check out Fumblerooski Sports. Also, you can find us through the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Also, check us out on Twitter. You can find us there at RW3 Trilogy Podcast. I believe that's right. Is that right, miss?
At the RWT Podcast. That's right.
Oh, yes. Sorry, RWT Podcast.
You were close enough.
I was very close. All right. You would have been almost there. You just try it another time and you would have figured it out. You can then also find us on Instagram at the RW Trilogy Podcast. Also, folks, you can find us on YouTube. Just type in the Ricky Williams Trilogy. You'll find us there as well. And you can find us on our website. Go to fumblerooskisports.com, type in Ricky Williams Trilogy, and guess what? You'll find the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Folks, this is, again, the Ricky Williams Trilogy with John B. Eazy, Durnell, with the Moose, and Duke Thompson. Fellas, anything you'd like to say before we leave?
Go Patriots, baby.
I don't know what Duke is doing.
Yes. Sorry. The show Money Mouth, where we make you money. Moose is coming back with Patriot Pat show this year with the Pats. We named the Titans. Johnny will have Chiefing Up, I believe. And so more content coming. Please support us, subscribe, like us, comment, hate us, love us. We're just here for you people. So
Yeah, you know what, too? If you hate us, you can start your own podcast with our company. We'll support you.
We'll support you.
You don't
Oh, yeah, dude. I would love to support our own smear campaigns.
Hell yeah.
Bad press is good press.
Well, like I said, boys, go Pats.
Go Titans.
Go Chiefs.